Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Panerai Submersible PAM02068 with a blue dial in stainless steel 42 millimeters. I will tell you a little bit about the history of Panerai, then tell you about where this submersible lines up in the with regard to other similar submersibles. Then I'll tell you about the case bezel dial bracelet movement, finally try it on and give you my thoughts. So let's start with the history. Well, Panerai itself, the company, has been around for a very long time. I want to say something like 1860 or something like that. It's quite some time. And then it was bought out by the Richemont Group around, I think, 30 years ago or so. And since then, it's gone on to do very, very well. It's one of the top brands. And the Richemont Group really took it over and made it and standardized many things from it. And now they have four major collections, which is the submersible that you're looking at here. They have the Luminor. They also have the Luminor Dew, which is kind of like a dress, a smaller watch. And then they have the radium mirror. So four basic lines, but of course many different variations of that. Now let's move on to where this watch stands in the lineup of other similar submersibles. Now the submersible itself, what defines a submersible, the case itself looks very much like a Luminor, except that the bezel has this graduated bezel, and as the name implies, submersible, it's supposed to be able to do diving. And that's why the bezel is this graduated bezel here, that it turns unidirectionally to calculate the elapsed time. So if you were to jump into water with this, that you would be able to calculate how much time has passed and it wouldn't go the other direction. Similar to a like a Rolex Submariner. Now, the submersible, as you can imagine, since it's Panerai only has four collections, that, and submersible being one of them, there's a lot of different variations to the submersible, which is really cool because it's a nice collection of theirs. Now they make the submersible in many different variations, but the most basic breakdown you could break it down is 42 millimeters versus 44 millimeters. They actually also make 47, so I guess you could break it down in three categories. So they make, and they actually even make 49 millimeters, but that's not that common. So it more or less comes out to small, medium, large. Small meaning 42, which is actually not small, by the way. 42 is actually large for other brands. For example, Patek Philippe 42 is their largest, or not the largest, but it is one of their larger complications. Actually, it might even be the largest. Actually, it is the largest. So 42 is not small, but for Panerai, it is one of their smaller sections. 44 is their medium, and 47 is their largest. Okay, now this one is made of steel, and it's also 42 millimeters, which means it's on the small side, but it actually 42 is going to fit most guys correctly, because as I said, most sports watches are between 40 and 44, and most of them actually closer to 40 than to 44. Okay, now where does this watch stand in the lineup? Well, the 42s, as you can imagine, they have many variations of that one. This one happens to be steel. They make it on rubber. They make it with a black dial, a blue dial, as you see here. Different variations like bronze and gold and whatever. So this is sort of the starting point. It's not in it that it's all stainless steel and with a blue dial and bezel. The retail prices are like around $11,700, and you can get it at jazztime.com for much less than that, somewhere I think around $9,000 or so. But anyways, it's a starter in the not so it's not the most expensive part of the range, but it's not the cheapest. Okay, let's move on to talking about the watch itself, starting with the case. Now the case is 42 millimeters, and what is special about the case is, of course, it's stainless steel, as I stated, but it has this crown guard, and all the Panerais, actually not all of them, the radium mirrors don't have it, but the Luminor has it, as you see here. And it's a trademark of theirs to put this crown guard. Now, what is the purpose of the crown guard? Well, it's to protect the crown. You could bump this crown, and that is the entry point of water into the watch. Since Panerai was designed, actually was initially designed, they did some work for the Italian Navy. Panerai, by the way, is an Italian design, and you can tell because it has a very beautiful design. Italians are known for making beautiful designs, and there you have it. Now the entry point of water comes in through the crown, and Panerai figured out that, well, they would need to protect that section. For example, since they are making these watches for the Italian Navy, they want to make sure that they are going to be up to the task of going into the water and not letting water into it. So they need to protect the crown, but they also wanted to do so in a very beautiful manner, and like only the Italians can do, which they did perfectly. And they designed this crown guard, and it's stuck. It's been this way ever since, and it's really something that they can't get rid of. Now the case and all these other things, you know, they can kind of be similar to other watches, but the Panerai is the only brand that does this really beautiful crown guard. Now, some other companies like Graham and stuff, they do it, but they don't do it quite as beautifully as Panerai. And Panerai was the first really to do it. So there you have it. Other brands also do crown guards, just they don't do a crown guard like this. Okay, so this is really recognizable. All right, now that's the case. It's 42 millimeters. As I said, it's on the small side. It actually is the smallest submersible. They don't make smaller submersibles. Okay, and it's made of stainless steel, and it does have this cushioned case, which is kind of nice. You have like a sort of a cushioned center case, and then of course the lugs and the crown guard. Okay, that's 42 millimeters. Let's move on to the bezel here. Now, the bezel is actually made of ceramic, and as I said, it is an anti-clockwise rotating bezel with a graduated scale, or you can call it a graduated bezel, which you see these 5, 10, 15, 20. You put the 0 at the minute mark, and then you can calculate elapsed time after that. Now, why is it important that the bezel here is made of ceramic? Well, because ceramic does not scratch very easily, it doesn't fade, and so it's going to have the same beauty all throughout its life cycle, especially if this watch is meant to be used for diving, that it's very likely that the bezel will be scratched, but given that it's made of ceramic, it will unlikely scratch, so that's a good thing. Okay, so that is the bezel, and the bezel, very nicely, it's a very nice touch. They matched the bezel to the dial. They kept it with this beautiful blue sun-brushed dial, which has luminous hour markers and dots and the date, by the way, at the 3 o'clock, a nice date, and you also have the small seconds at the 9 o'clock. And you might think, like, what is the big deal about that? Well, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it does move the seconds out of the way, at least for a cleaner look, and I just think aesthetically it looks quite nice. It kind of counterbalances the right side, which has the date, and then you put the seconds on the opposite side, just kind of counterbalances it. Okay, anyways, that is the dial. Now let's take a look here at also the back, which is going to have the movement in it. Now the movement, they opted to not show the movement. It's an automatic movement, P900 caliber, and it has a 3-day power reserve. And it's not a whole lot to look at, but sometimes they do a open case back. In this particular case, they decided to do a closed case back with this kind of cool picture of I guess would be a submarine or jet ski or whatever this is. But anyhow, they do a nice little picture on the back. Okay, I guess I can also point this out. By the way, look at, it has the fast strap change mechanism where you press this little button and that allows you to change the buckle, change the strap. They've been doing this for quite some time, actually. It's a very elegant way to change the bracelet without having to use, you know, all these fancy tools. Yes, you do have to use a tool, but it makes it more secure than, for example, another brand like such as AP. For example, if you press the 2 buttons on AP at the same time, the band will come off. So they kind of safeguard that by enforcing you have to use a tool. but the tool is not very complex. It's just, you could even use a toothpick or a pen or whatever, and it'll come off. But anyhow, it comes with a blue rubber strap, which is quite nice. So you can change this one if you don't want to use this metal strap. You can just simply change it to a rubber strap, which is also looks pretty cool. Okay, and there you have it. Okay, I guess now it's time to talk about, try this watch on and give you my thoughts. Now, I'm 200 pounds. I have a 7.5 inch wrist, and you can see the watch looks very nice on my arm. It's not too big, not too small, and you might think, well, I'm not a small guy, but I'm wearing the smallest watch. 42 millimeters is not a small watch by any means. In most companies, it's actually considered quite large. But at any rate, I could actually wear up to 44. I would suggest for those people who have a wrist size of, let's say, 6.5 or larger, you could probably go with a 42, which is what you see here. If you have one smaller than 6.5, you probably should go with a different watch, or maybe just their Luminor Dew collection, which has a 40 millimeters in it. At any rate, if you have a 6.5 to 7.5 inch wrist, I think you could go with a 42. Now, if you have a larger wrist than that, well, then you can go with a 44. And let's say you have a almost 8-inch wrist, well, then maybe you should go with that 47. So anyways, I really think the Submersible is quite a nice collection of theirs. I like it a lot, especially it's ultra sporty, and for the price point, I really think it's really has a place. So look, if you want to buy this watch at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.